Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It's Nigel once again, and this is going to be another wrestling match review. So, if you remember last year around Royal Rumble time, we looked at the Women's 2018 Royal Rumble, the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble event. But WWE decided to pull a King Neptune and say, that Rumble we had last year was so good, I think we'll do it a second time. So, 1 year later is the second annual, which we're going to be reviewing. I'm talking about the 2019 Women's Royal Rumble match. So, as always, I'm not professional wrestling reviewer or analyst, just a man who enjoys a good time. And I had an okay time with this one. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. If you've seen these reviews of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. If you haven't, I'm going to be talking about what I liked and what I disliked about the match. So starting with what I liked, not a bad field of competitors. Some of the names you come to expect from Raw and SmackDown at this time, the women's division, at least on Raw and SmackDown. There's some at the time newer faces such as some of the NXT call-ups, which we have 5 who are coming up from NXT, that being Xia Li, Kairi Sane, Candice LeRae, Casey Catanzaro, and Io Shirai, and they get into the mix. But otherwise, you have people like the Riot Squad, you have Alicia Fox, you have Maria Kanellis even, so you have also Becky Lynch. You have Charlotte Flair as well, which they mentioned Charlotte Flair. Her was champion last year, but because she's no longer champion this year she's entering in. Same with Alexa Bliss. So in terms of competitors, not bad. No like legends or anything like that. Mainly looking towards the future this time around, which I have no problem with. Of course, last year there was quite a few of them, coming off the back of the Raw 25 celebration, where a lot of the older, more established veterans, such as like Trish Stratus and Lita, made appearances in that Rumble. But this one on way more of the technically modern talent, even though there are still some veterans in there, such as Natalya, who her and Lacey Evans start off the match, and then Mickie James, Maria Kanellis, Alicia Fox, etc. And I almost forgot to mention Rhea Ripley coming from NXT UK. And this is kind of unrelated, but man, seeing how people like Io Shirai and Kairi Sane and Rhea Ripley used to look back then versus how they look now, they're almost unrecognizable. But yeah, not a bad field of competitors there. And, of course, with this being the Royal Rumble match, there's your typical Royal Rumble stuff. There's some funny spots, some cool moments, including Naomi eluding elimination for the time being by doing the handstand and onto the barricade. So she and Mandy Rose, who this is when they were feuding after Mandy Rose tried to seduce Jimmy Uso. So they were feuding there, and they both get eliminated. Well, they almost get eliminated. Well, that being Naomi almost gets eliminated. They both go to the outside. Mandy Rose is eliminated. She's thrown off by Naomi, but then Mandy pulls Naomi off. But Naomi, feet haven't touched the ground, so she does the handstand spot, similar to what Kofi Kingston did, and that's kind of what they did with these early women's rumbles. Is they kind of tried to do what Kofi did, which Kofi sadly doesn't really do as much anymore, like the special spots. But no, she did the handstand onto the steps, which was really cool. Just for her to get yanked off by Mandy Rose anyway. But then, they got another one with Casey Catanzaro as well. So what Naomi did was she went onto the barricade. He did the handstand onto the barricade and then leaped from there onto the steps. But Casey, and of course Casey Catanzaro, who would become Katana Chance, and recently celebrated her birthday, so happy birthday to her. But she she did the handstand to the ring. So those were some pretty cool moments. Otherwise, some funny moments such as Lena Vega also hiding under the ring and just for Hornswoggle to show up and chase her in, and then she got dumped out as well. So your typical Royal Rumble stuff, which isn't a bad thing. You know, it's things you come to expect and the things that people love when it comes to the Royal Rumble. What people might not have expected, though, but were welcome to anyway, was Becky Lynch entering the fray. So number 28 was supposed to be Lana. Lana, I believe, had competed earlier or in the night, but had gotten injured, so she's limping down to the ring, so she's having trouble getting there. And then Nia Jax just attacks her for no reason. Also, props to Nia Jax for pulling double duty because she was in the men's Rumble and took finishers from all the men, from quite a few of the men in there. But nevertheless, so Nia Jax attacks her. Man, even back then, Nia Jax was beefing with Lana. But Becky Lynch shows up, wants to get in, and Finley, who's the producer and everything, and at first is against it, like, no, you can't go in. And Becky like, yo, she's hurt, give me the spot. But people are chanting for it, so Finley, he pulls the biggest babyface move of the night. I'm talking Bailey. He could have handed out $100 bills to every audience member, and it probably wouldn't have been as because this is back when Bailey was still the white meat babyface. She could have handed $100 bills to every audience member, and it still wouldn't have been as big a babyface move as Finley did. That being allowing Becky Lynch to enter the match, and once he points her in, all right, go ahead, you can, the thunderous ovation she gets. They play her music, which is kind of unnecessary. She was already there, but it's the thunderous ovation that she gets. It was pretty cool. This, of course, is when Becky Lynch started calling herself the Man. That was the infancy of that. She had turned heel against Charlotte, but that got dropped because she got super over, especially after Nia Jax broke her face in the lead up to Survivor Series 2018, which sadly Becky Lynch, because of her broken face, and I believe more specifically the nose, was unfortunately was forced to miss Survivor Series, which I think that had among other things, but especially that I think is what really began a lot of people's hatred towards Nia Jax, which is unfortunate. But nevertheless, Becky Lynch just came back and gave us an iconic moment for Becky Lynch, her standing there bloodied, smiling and everything. But so Becky Lynch enters into the match and ends up winning the whole thing. And it was even better because her and Charlotte were the final two. So Becky, he enters the match. Technically, Carmella is number 30 because she won the Mixed Match Challenge. That was the year she teamed with R-Truth, which was one of the better, or at least more entertaining, of the Aqua pairings, especially once the 24/7 championship got introduced. But it'd come down to Becky and Charlotte, and of course, Becky and Charlotte is so intertwined when it comes to their careers. They may not have always been on the best terms, whether on or off camera, but to see them so intertwined, especially with them being two of the four horsewomen, and was really cool to see. It fit perfectly. Becky Lynch dumps out Charlotte in order to win and get even more of a pop. She does her leg, which I guess runs in the family/marriage because Seth Rollins may or may not miss WrestleMania this year due to a leg injury, but Becky fights through the pain and wins and is going on to WrestleMania. So it was such a really awesome moment for Becky there, and very well deserved. The people wanted it, and they definitely got it with Becky Lynch and coming in, and she had challenged Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship earlier that night, but couldn't get the job done. But to see her get this moment here was really cool, and I wish I could tell you that she went on to go one-on-one with Ronda Rousey and win the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. But while she did win the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania, she also won the SmackDown Women's Championship because Charlotte ended up getting involved. On one hand, I guess this is kind of the sign that Charlotte's going to WrestleMania, but on the other hand, and did Charlotte really need to be inserted in that match? And I talked about it when I reviewed that match. If you haven't already, go check out my review of Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 35. I talked about how Charlotte, it really didn't need it. Of course, it's Charlotte Flair. Of course, she's like the very top of the women's division in WWE. But why couldn't it have just been Becky versus Ronda? Or if you are going to insert Charlotte Flair in, at least have it make more sense. And so literally, rather than it literally being Vince saying, you know what, Charlotte Flair is going to be in. He literally said it on camera. Obviously, he said it off camera, and that was leading into it. But I pretty much said on camera, what this WrestleMania needs? Charlotte Flair. And Charlotte Flair was added to the match for whatever reason. Again, nothing against Charlotte Flair, but yeah, she really didn't need to be in the match. But nevertheless, as Becky with the big win here, so congrats to Becky on the huge win there. In terms of what I didn't really like about how the match, admittedly, there are a number of botches or things not quite going right. Now, granted, botches aren't really something I bring up too often and when I do the wrestling reviews, only because it's kind of unfair. Mistakes happen. That's just the nature of anything really in life, especially in pro wrestling. Botches happen. Botches do happen, and so it's not like I'm gonna be nitpicking and pointing out every single botch because it'd be kind of pointless. But there were a number of moments that didn't quite go right within the match, and sadly, it does happen quite a bit. But like I said, that's just the nature of the sport. But it's not really something I'm gonna rag on too much. But it is present, and some of them do look kind of ugly. Like some aren't quite as bad, but some do look kind of ugly. The other thing is that nothing too super duper crazy, aside from some like the funny moments and the Naomi and Casey Catanzaro moments. Nothing too super spectacular. Oh my God, I remember that moment and it really happened in this match. Granted, that's fine. It wasn't abysmal, of course, but nothing like oh crap, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was super legendary Rumble moment. And at least he's not in terms of this match. And granted, not every Rumble has that moment, and not every Rumble needs to have those moments. But this one didn't necessarily. There was some fun moments. There was some cool moments. There was some funny moments, of course, such as what I mentioned, or when the Iconics were in, or when Maria Kanellis and Alicia Fox fought over a hat. But otherwise, nothing too super crazy. But you know what? That's okay. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Just something at least worth bringing up. Alright, so that's going to do it for this review. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Did I enjoy this more than the previous years? I don't think so. But it's still a pretty decent match. And of course, there's Becky Lynch walks out on top, and you can tell they're going. They're investing in the man at this point, giving the fans what they want on. For that, and I recommend, if you're curious, giving this match a watch. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this review and the match. Did you select the match? Did you select my review of the match? Let me know. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.